it's pretty obvious, who's making money. Like I'll just sort of talk about like my own businesses that I've run. So I was the head of technology at a company called AdMob that did mobile advertising. So we used a bunch of machine learning techniques to do things as simple as CTR prediction, which led to advertisers getting more relevant leads, users getting more relevant ads, and like the publishers and the people, us in the commercial transaction, like made more money. And I don't think that that's necessarily like these ad supported business models. Like I ran technology at LinkedIn. Like LinkedIn has like a very big advertising business now, and like Microsoft runs a search engine that has a big advertising business. And so there's nothing wrong with advertising based business models, which heavily use machine learning to do what they're doing. It's just like you should understand, like when you are using a free service, that the data that you are contributing back to that service by your interactions with it are being used in these machine learning models to produce value for a whole bunch of people in the in this advertising calculus, and like that's something to be just aware of. Again, like if I imagine myself as the 12-year-old Kevin who got his first color computer too back in the early 1980s, like I would really, really much rather have the world that we have right now, where there's Google and Wikipedia and like YouTube and a bunch of ad supported content that I can have access to that I might not otherwise have. And that like my data contributions, I think would be a fair trade. But I do think it's like really really important for people to sort of realize that like that's actually one of the more interesting ways to understand where data is going, is just by looking at who is making money. And one of the things that we've looked at Microsoft is this whole notion of data is labor. Like it's not a foregone conclusion that we have somehow or another been able to fairly assign an economic value to the data contributions that people are making to the technological systems that they use. And so like we're trying to figure out, like in Microsoft Research and in the office of the CTO, whether or not there is a principal way where we can sort of help someone understand that like I am contributing this piece of information and it has this amount of value to it. So I know, if I'm getting this service back from a video platform, for instance, that like what I've just contributed is a fair trade.